While everyone has their own opinions on what video game development team is actually the best, whenever you talk about great game developers, it is impossible not to bring up Rockstar. From Grand Theft Auto to Bully to Red Dead Redemption, they're awesome, and it seems like these guys can't do any wrong in the gaming world. What's up, guys? Jimmy here. Welcome to Chaos Top 10s, and today we are going to do the almost impossible task of ranking the best 10 Rockstar games. Now, for this list, a game simply has to have been developed or published by Rockstar. Before we get into it, we are running a $200 Amazon gift card giveaway the entire month. All you have to do to enter is like this video, be subscribed, turn on your notifications, and leave a comment why you want to win it with your Twitter handle attached. I will announce the winner at the end of the month on Twitter. Be sure to take advantage of that giveaway, and also link at the top of the description to my Twitter. You guys follow me over on Twitter. That's where I interact with as many people as I can. I do in the comment section on these videos as well, but it's way more personal over there on Twitter. But now, let's get into the best 10 Rockstar games of all time. Kicking off the list at number 10, oh my gosh, we have a movie tie-in game that doesn't suck. What? We have The Warriors, and they don't suck if they're made by Rockstar. I mean, that's just how it works. The Warriors was released in 2005, a full 26 years after the movie it was based on, but don't let that fool you, because this game is just a little bit of plain awesomeness. Unlike other open-world Rockstar games, The Warriors is actually more linear, offering more of a classic beat-em-up experience. By winning fights or helping other characters, you can upgrade your skills, allowing you to use more helpful gear like brass knuckles or spike-toed boots. Heck, you can even go to work out in the order to increase your stamina. Of all the movie tie-in games out there, and there are a lot of bad ones out there, this one manages to be the most true to the source while still adding new elements and keeping things fun for you and me. Even if you've seen the movie and you do know what's going on, it's what a movie tie-in game should be. You feel like you're part of the story, and I think it's a great way to kick off this list. A lot of you have probably never played Manhunt, but you should. Just make sure you have permission if you're young, because it's a pretty rough game. One of the most controversial franchises of all time, Manhunt was released in 2003 and had you playing as James Earl Cash, a prisoner sentenced to death who was forced by a sadistic director to create snuff films for him. The game was a blend of both stealth and survival horror, as you couldn't just run up and do the deed. You had to be smart about it. You had to be smart about your approaches, and a single mistake could mean your demise. While it's mainly only remembered for its incredibly graphic violence, the first Manhunt is a really solid game and one of the grittiest stealth games ever made. And honestly, it's a really challenging game as well. So if you're a fan of tougher, more methodical games, definitely check out Manhunt. At number 8, let's get some racing action in here, and we have Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. Many people forget about the Midnight Club series, and even more people forget that Rockstar was actually responsible for perhaps the best entry. Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. Released in 2005, Dub Edition was the product of a partnership between Rockstar and Dub Magazine and gave us an awesome open-world racing game that featured recreations of Atlanta, Detroit, and San Diego. The game had an awesome customization wheel, made even better by the insane level of detail put into the game's visuals on both the cars and the environments surrounding them. The game was praised for its music, graphics, customization, and its awesome driving mechanics, many of which built upon to create the driving that we're all familiar with in our current and past GTA games. Coming in at number 7, we have Grand Theft Auto Vice City. When the question of which GTA game is the best comes up, two of the main contenders are often Vice City and San Andreas, which was released in 2002 and 2004 respectively. GTA Vice City was plain awesome, bringing players back to the 80s, and you had to play as Tommy Vercetti, played by Ray Liotta, who's an awesome dude. He's also been in Call of Duty Zombies, as he is released from jail and becomes involved with an underground drug business in Vice City, a fictional version of Miami, Florida. The game had tons to do and improved heavily on what GTA 3 had introduced just a year earlier, as Vice City was only the second fully 3D Grand Theft Auto game made. Many fans still consider Vice City to be the best in the series, but others disagree. Why? Well, you'll see as we go throughout this list. I really wish they would continue this series. This thing was so dark, it was so gritty. And number 6, we have Max Payne 3, the conclusion of the epic Max Payne trilogy. Many consider Max Payne 3 to be the definitive Max Payne experience, and for good reason, honestly. The game was plain badass. After the devastating events of the first 2 games, Max found himself in Brazil working as a private security contractor and quickly finds out in a hectic and bloody conflict between a rich family and a violent street gang that he's in the middle of it. Max Payne 3 perfected the fast-paced third-person shooter gameplay of the earlier games and brought back the iconic bullet time feature, which allowed players to dive in slow motion and pull off as many shots as they could at a time, making you feel like an action movie star. Plus, Max Payne 3 had an insanely fun and popular multiplayer mode that put you in various locations from the story and even allowed the use of bullet time online against other players. The game was just plain awesome. Cracking into the top 5, we have Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Now, Vice City perfected the 3D GTA formula. San Andreas took that formula and cranked everything up to 11. Released in 2004 after just a couple years of development, San Andreas had everything Vice City had and so much more, making it a fan favorite that many GTA players still call the best of that era of games. You played as Carl C.J. Johnson as he returns home to Los Santos, a fictional city based, you guessed it, on Los Angeles, and that was also expanded upon and used again as the setting for GTA 5. He reestablishes his old gang and gets involved with violent urban wars with both rival gangs and corrupt cops. The game literally has everything. I mean, it does. It's an absolute blast and more than deserving of being a top 5 entry on this list. At number 4, perhaps one of the most realistic games in the history of gaming in terms of human visuals, we have L.A. Noire, and it was released in 2011 after a long 6-year development cycle to great reviews and sales. You played as Cole Phelps, a member of the L.A. Police Department in 1947, as he becomes a detective and tries to solve various crimes linked to the underground mob activity throughout L.A. The game was praised for both its innovation in facial recognition and its interrogation system, which allowed tons of options for you, the player, while questioning a suspect, as opposed to most games that just give you 2 to 3 options to interact with an NPC. The game was awesome, and Rockstar has gone on record stating that a sequel is definitely possible and could be developed way quicker than the first game. At number 3, we have Grand Theft Auto 5. While you may have your own favorite from the Grand Theft Auto franchise, given there's so many, there's no question which one is the most successful and the most complete package. That is Grand Theft Auto 5. Released in 2013, it became the fastest-selling video game of all time and the fastest piece of media of all time. It's still one of the most popular games in the world due to its constant expansions to the online multiplayer and its sheer addictiveness to the game itself. The game is still being played to this day. Everybody's looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2, and while they're doing that, they're playing GTA 5. Speaking of Red Dead Redemption, at number 2, we have Red Dead Redemption. The RDR2 hype is absolutely through the roof, and for good reason, because the original was good. It was fantastic. Released in 2010 to critical acclaim and a huge following, you played as John Marston, a former outlaw who is tasked with hunting down the members of his former gang in an effort to gain amnesty from the state so he can live a simple life with his family. What follows and ensues is easily the greatest Wild West game ever made. As you ride across the open plains, you have shootouts with your enemies and learn more and more about the Marston family. And if you've never watched the end, man, it is brutal. And we reached the number 1 spot on today's list. Did you guess what it was? You've probably used a little bit of mathematical equation in your head. You've realized that there's one game we haven't talked about yet, and that game would be Bully. Now, you may not have been expecting this to be at number 1, but I felt it was well-deserved, and it was released back in 2006, and it had you play as James Jimmy Hopkins, a new student at Bulworth Academy as he rose through the ranks as a tough guy at the school and faced off with the big names on campus, allowing the player to decide if they wanted to be more on the side of the bullies or on the side of the little guy. The game is nothing short of a masterpiece. It had great characters, witty writing, and great jokes, awesome gameplay, and it finally gave you a chance to play GTA High School Edition. You could be a good student and attend all your classes, or you could be a rebel, ditch class and just go explore the surrounding towns while you pick fights with the other tough guys around campus. If you've never played Bully, but you're a fan of Rockstar games, you absolutely need to give this game a try. And there you have it, my friends. That was not an easy task, but we did it. Let us know where we got it right and wrong. What is your favorite Rockstar game of all time? There's a playlist below if you want to check out all the other top 10s. Brand new one up every night. Turn on your notifications so you never miss an upload, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video.